Hi guys, welcome back to Eduvet. Today we're discussing bovine ephemeral fever. Bovine ephemeral fever. So let's get started. Bovine ephemeral fever is a non-contagious. That is actually it is an arboviral disease characterized by transitory fever or polyphasic or biphasic to polyphasic fever, muscular stiffness, shivering, lameness, and enlarged peripheral lymph nodes. Actually, the problem is the death in case of bovine ephemeral fever is less, but severe economic production losses will be there. That is reproductive losses, decreased milk yield, overall gait will be compromised, the immune system will be compromised, etc. So mortality is very low actually, but morbidity is also high, and the economic aspect of milk production, that is actually decreased milk yield, is the main problem. Now etiology. This is caused actually by the rhabdoviridae, which is the bullet-shaped RNA virus, which is also causing rabies. So the genus is Ephemerovirus. It's actually sensitive to lipid solvents. That is, whenever you're cleaning the surface with lipid solvents, they get dissolved and the virus is. So this disease has got many synonyms. That is bovine epizootic fever, 3-day sickness. Actually, 3-day stiffness or 3-day fever is actually the name due to. Actually, it belongs to 3-day actually. That is, first day, I will be discussing it in the pathogenesis. 3-day is the main synonym, 3-day. And dengue of cattle, actually due to the bite of tick. This disease is transmitted by the tick bite. Cattle, water buffaloes, and all animals are affected. Mainly ruminants is affected. Transmission actually is the bite of Culicoides species, that they are also transmitting the blood tongue infection. We have heard about the blood tongue infection. And the contagious transmission, that is transmission by fomites or transmission by contact, is not happening because Culicoides ticks should have to come into contact with the animal to transmit the virus. Incubation period is actually 2 to 4 days, but we cannot say incubation period with a proper time because it depends upon the viral load, health status, and the economic uh, aspects and the hygiene of the animal. So going to the pathogenesis. Actually, the virus will be entering into the body through the bite of the tick. So it will be taken by the nearest phagocytes to the lymph nodes. And from the lymph nodes, they will be replicating in a very increasing manner in the WBC cells. So they will be producing many hemorrhage in the lymph nodes. So injury to the blood vessels, joints, and mucosa will lead to massive production of interferon. So if at all the viral load is very high, the production of interferons will be very high. So this can lead to anaphylactic shock. So hyper stiffness is produced due to the anaphylactic shock, and due to the degrading of the muscle proteins also the stiffness can occur. The virus stimulates an early neutrophilia with left shift. So clinical signs occur suddenly and vary in the severity. There will be fever, that is 104 degree to 177 degree Fahrenheit temperature, and this can change to biphasic to polyphasic because whenever the virus come into the systemic invasion, they produce. So depression, anorexia, stiff gait, and salivation is a very important factor here. Inflammation of the joints, edema of the subcutaneous muscles, eye sockets, etc. So nasal discharge and drooling of saliva and drooling of watery lacrimal discharges. That is the main problem. It can also produce encephalitis. That is, the virus can settle in the nerve regions and they produce encephalitis. Actually, they also concentrate in the gastrointestinal tract and they produce profuse salivation, and sometimes constipation is also there. May affected the lungs, that is, they produce tachypnea and rattling, arthritis, limb arthritis, and unable to rise. because of the nerve problem. So the complications is they may produce aspiration pneumonia. The drooling of saliva and the nasal discharges may get aspirated into the lung, and they may produce aspiration pneumonia with the consequent bacterial infection. Secondary bacterial infection is also has got very big chance. And the subcutaneous accumulation of air along the back. So sterility is happening is rare, but the milk production will be decreased. Temporary infertility in male animal can occur. So serofibrinous polysynovitis, that is typically gelatinous fluid will be seen in the joints. Polysynovitis means many synovial joints has got infection. So pleural effusion will be there. Peritoneal and pericardial cavity, there will be fluid accumulation. Cellulitis, lymphadenitis near the inguinal and peripheral lymph nodes. Emphysematous lesions will be seen in the lungs. So the neck extended and neck head is due to respiratory distress and coughing. Actually, whenever they are blocking the air passage, they will be trying to get oxygen in a different manner. So there will be a different extension of neck. So microscopic lesions is actually hyperplasia of the vessel cells and edema, fluid, hemorrhage, etc. So diagnosis actually through the symptoms and epidemiology, virus neutralization test, ELISA, RT-PCR, etc. Control and prevention is actually many countries practice quarantine method. Many other countries practice culling method. If at all it is diagnosed with this, they will be culling the animal because uh, this will actually decrease the production capacity. So the animal will be consuming more amount of feed and will be producing very less amount of byproducts. So they'll get culled. Also, whenever we are controlling the ticks, that is culicoides tick, so we have to use insecticides and other agents that can kill the tick population. Thank you.